So I just found something really cool. Something that, you know, basically goes along with everything else I'm finding. So, but this, shoot, it's been a while since I found one of these. Excuse me. It's been a while since I found one of these. So I'm really excited about getting it.
In the heart of the American South, history grows from the roots of tobacco fields and cotton plantations. From colonial ambition to a land shaped by revolution. Southern patriots fought fiercely in the War for Independence. In 1812, Southern ports became battlegrounds as war returned to the American shores. But it was the Civil War that scorched the soul of the South. From Charleston's first cannon blast to the burning of Atlanta to the surrender at Appomattox. The South remembers not just the battles, but the legacy they left behind.
Good morning. Welcome back to Dixieland History. So we're back here at the battle site for another day of detecting and hopefully finding some more. I'm gonna try and check out some different areas here in the woods. I see on the LiDAR some possible spots I want to check out because the Confederacy did have 4 cannons lined up through here. And the Union also had some cannons, but I haven't read anything anywhere as to how many they had. So hopefully maybe we'll get on some spots where we find some artillery, full shells, fragments, whatever. But at least let me know that definitely there was some artillery usage out here on both sides. Now the Confederates, they had theirs lined up at the river. They were up on the higher ground, which is actually where I'm at right now. They were up on the higher ground and you know, more or less trying to protect that bridge from the Union coming across. Of course, you know, as I've spoken before, you know, eventually the Union came across, causing the Confederates to retreat. But, you know, we don't know exactly how many were fired, how many they fired in the 2 days. So good possibility, might be able to find something. But today's March 1st. I wanted to talk a little bit of history. As you can see, you know, here I've got my South Carolina 250th anniversary from the Revolutionary War shirt on. And being that today's March 1st, so in 1775, South Carolina was building its militia, and actually they had more volunteers than they had anticipated. But there were no named battles or anything at this point throughout the war, or from the beginning of the war through this point. And so right now they're just preparing for the conflict they know that's coming. But it was good news that they have more volunteers than what they had anticipated. So, you know, people were out there ready to fight and you know, get America started. But anyway, we're going to go out here and do some hunting, and hopefully we'll be able to, you know, find some more good stuff and, you know, hopefully some different stuff. I love finding the lead, but I want to start finding brass or possibly artillery. So we'll see you on the first hole. So came out here to one of the spots on the LiDAR that kind of interested me, which looked like a possible cellar hole. And there it is. Couldn't quite tell exactly how old it was, but seeing that there's a bed spring right there, I'm gonna guess and say it's not really old. Pile of bricks here, and they're scattered all down the hill. That first target I come out with so far is this mason jar lid, and it still has the insert inside. Now it is broken, but of course I won't take it out. I'm just going to leave it in there more than likely because it's pretty banged up and I wouldn't want to break it anymore. Let's see if we can get anything off the top here. Doesn't look like it, but anyway, so that's the first target of the day. Apparently it must have been maybe a, you know, home site up here. I don't know exactly when it started, but you know, that could be the 20s. But either way, it's post-Civil War, I'm sure. And so now what I'm gonna look for is a possibility of maybe finding some silver out here. That'd be a pretty good deal to you know, add in the finds box anyway. So I'm gonna put my hat on straight. How about that? So anyway, yeah, hopefully we get some silver out of here and bring that home. So I'm over here, as you can see right there. Now I'm on the other side of the cellar hole where I just found that canning lid with the porcelain insert. Got a good signal over here in 84, solid signal right here next to this tree. And I actually found something I wasn't really expecting up here. I mean, it wasn't a big surprise, only because of some of the information that I gathered from locals around here, but you can see it right down there in that hole. An infield. So the Confederates are definitely moving through here. Like I said, whether this home site was here while they were, now makes me wonder. You know, maybe there will be some stuff around this hole. You know, they could have been using it as a little campsite. You know, maybe they had livestock here or something where they could feed or, you know, eat. River isn't far, could have got a bath, all that stuff. But there you go, infield bullet right down there in that hole, right next to the cellar hole. So let's see what else we can get. Boy, isn't that a beautiful thing. Always fun finding Confederate lead. So here we got a really good signal, and it's right there. A pretty neat little piece. You find them out here. So where I'm at right now, I'm off to the side of that cellar hole. I'm kind of going downhill a little bit. The old road is right in front of me, so I don't know, maybe if the reason I found that infield earlier might have been because they, you know, were lined up right in here, being on the downhill side and kind of hiding, waiting for the troops to march up the road and take fire. But here's what we found right here, and that's a little poncho grommet. And so they could have been laying down right in here somewhere, possibly, until I can find some more stuff to go with the theory. You know, I don't know yet, but yeah, just found a little poncho grommet. So we're on the right track. So found this interesting piece. It is a brass piece, not far from actually where I just found that rivet, the poncho rivet. Have no idea what that could be or what it was. And get it in the sunlight a little better. But there, you know, there it is. I've sent pictures to both Cliff Condra and Adam Coe. And Adam Coe is here in South Carolina. Very, very knowledgeable guy, very good guy. In fact, if anybody watching this video ever likes to do guided hunts for Civil War stuff, Adam's a good guy to look up. And but like I said, he's just as knowledgeable as Cliff. So sent that off to Cliff and Adam, and hopefully I'll get an answer out of them. If I do, I'll let you know what it is. If you already know what it is, you're more than welcome to leave me a comment, tell me what it could be. But yeah, some sort of unique brass piece anyhow, but we'll see hopefully we get an answer. Well, found my first coin out here in these woods. It was right there. Looks like a little penny. Of what variety? Well, I see Lincoln's head right there. So it wasn't dry. It's a wheat penny. There's the 1 cent. So it wasn't dropped during the Civil War, but somebody dropped it during the wheat cent era. Wheat centy. That's funny. Anyhow, found my first coin out there. How about that? I'll try and clean it up later and get a date off of it. But there you go, wheat cent out here in the woods. Okay, so good signal here. Dug it up, and out popped this 3-ringer. Now, what's good about this 3-ringer is that is the actual first fired bullet on both the Confederacy or the Union side, in this whole area. Everything else has been dropped. Maybe we're getting into an area where there was some fighting. That's what I'm going to hope for. But yeah, finally got a fired bullet, and then the first one found be a 3-ringer from the Union. Like I was saying on the last video there at the end, so I thought that Williams cleaner, it was fired, but it wasn't. It was loaded. But, you know, those who know about the Williams cleaner bullets, yeah, Union soldiers hated them because they would always jam in their rifles. And that one was definitely a jam, because once I cleaned it off, I could see the hole in the tip where they screwed down in there to get it and dig it out of there. So it was actually never, it was loaded, but it was actually never fired. But this one is clearly fired. You could see where it hit something pretty dead solid. And there you go. So we got now our first official fired bullet from this area. Okay, as I said in the last video posted up, I would talk about General John Logan. So John Logan, he was from Illinois, and he was actually quite a decorated soldier. He fought in the Mexican-American War, and of course was a general in the Union Army during the American Civil War. The list is quite long, actually, from what battles he fought in. I get it out in a minute. I'm getting tired, as you can probably tell. So anyhow, he did fight in the Mexican-American War, like I said, the Civil War. He was also, during the Civil War, he fought in the First Battle of Bull Run, Battle of Belmont, Battle of Fort Donelson, Second Battle of Corinth, Mississippi, Vicksburg Campaign, Battle of Atlanta, Battle of Jonesboro, and Battle of Bentonville. And so, like I said, he was a highly decorated general. And a fun little fact about him was that he is regarded as the most important figure in the movement to recognize Memorial Day, which was originally known as Decoration Day. And but he was one of the official top people who moved to change it from Decoration Day to Memorial Day and made it a federal holiday. So that was, you know, pretty swift of him, I guess. But during the Civil War, he actually was a U.S. representative, and then he went on to join the he started his own regiment, militia. They called it the 31st Illinois Volunteer Infantry Regiment. He started it, started out as a colonel in that. And from there, he just, you know, he went on to, you know, fight in all these different battles. To his soldiers, he was known as Blackjack because of his black eyes and hair, and his skin complexion. He was a white guy, of course, but he had a darker, or swarthy, I believe is how they call it, skin complexion. And nope. Anyhow, he before resigning his seat, Union Army Colonel Logan served in the Army under Ulysses S. Grant. In the Western Theater, and was present at the Battle of Belmont on November 7th, 1861, where his horse was killed, and at Fort Donelson, where he was wounded on February 15th, 1862. Soon after the victory of Donelson, he resigned his seat, let me get that out of there, on April 2nd, 1862, and was promoted to Brigadier General in the Volunteers. As of March 21st, 1862, Major John Hodling served as the Chief of Staff. To confuse matters, the 32nd Illinois was commanded at Shiloh by a different colonel, John Logan. So, there you go. So I just found something really cool, something that, you know, basically goes along with everything else I'm finding. So, but this, shoot, it's been a while since I found one of these. Excuse me. It's been a while since I found one of these. So I'm really, really excited about getting it. And, yeah, I can't wait to show you what it is, but I'm sure you'll know as soon as you see it. But, you know, it lets me know the Cavalry was through here. And so now I'm hoping, of course, to try and find other parts for the Cavalry. So I believe it's Union. 100% sure it's Union, because I know, like I said, the Cavalry did come through with the 15th, or I'm sorry, with the 17th Corps. So, but here it is. Look at that. A stirrup. That gave a good signal too. I was actually thinking I was digging up a Williams cleaner. Gave the exact signal for it, and lo and behold, that came out the ground. So really, really cool. I'm very excited to have found this. Yeah, Civil War, or stirrup from the Civil War. You know, like I said, 17th Corps came through here. Part of the 17th Corps was Cavalry. So hopefully we can find some spurs. Let's see if we can. So there were Confederate cavalry out here as well. It wasn't just the Union cavalry. The cavalry that, like I said earlier, accompanied the 15th Corps infantry. So there was, there was Confederate cavalry out here as well, and it was Wheeler's cavalry. This is one of the last areas that he fought in. Wheeler was actually a very prominent general. His name was Joseph Wheeler, nicknamed Fighting Joe. He actually made Major General by the age of 26. So he was obviously a pretty decent general, you know, be that as it may. And he fought in, and we're going to get on by them bottles. But he like I said, he became Major General at the age of 26, and later on he commanded the whole army of the Tennessee Cavalry. He was known for his aggressive raiding tactics. He fought in major campaigns, including places like Shiloh, Chickamauga, Atlanta, and then again here in the Carolinas, which is kind of ironic that we're talking about him at this moment, where he fought at Chickamauga. There's another YouTube channel on here, Relic Rat. If you hadn't followed him, or subscribed to him, I definitely suggest you do. He finds some really cool stuff, and him and Just Joe and the rest of the gang, they're just a good old bunch of boys from Georgia that get out here and metal detect. But and they were up near the Chickamauga battle site here recently. They got a pretty nice permission. But anyhow, like I said, old Fighting Joe, so he had it makes me laugh every time, because the Union was giving them hell. I mean, obviously they have more soldiers than the Confederates had here at the site, and so they were really giving them hell. Nope. And like I said, right here is where he was anyhow. He was primarily fighting the 15th Corps as they crossed the Salkehatchie River, and they were contested by Wheeler's cavalry, who gave them a lively little fight. He was quoted as saying, "Those fellows are trying." How the heck did that go? "Those fellows are trying to stop us at the creek down there, and damn sassy they're acting about it." So he obviously had a little sense of humor, in such a bad time. But yeah, that was the other cavalry that was here in the area under Wheeler, and so that spur, it could have came from either side, Union or. Unless I do some, which I am going to do some electrolysis on it. Unless I do some electrolysis on it and find, US or CS, it's hard to say which side it came from. But just knowing that, finding something to show that the cavalry was here. Of course, I'm an infantry guy. That's what I was in the army, and so it's nice to see cavalry doing their job every once in a while, anyway. Well, GoPro's dead. I'm about dead. It's coming up towards the end of the day here, and this could be my last hole, but I got an 8081 in it, and it's still in the hole. And there it is. And we got a, yep, dropped, excuse me, you can tell I'm getting tired. A drop 3-ringer. Whew, man, it's been another long day. But there she is. Got another drop 3-ringer out of here. We'll keep going for a little while longer. This could be the last hole, might not be, who knows. Hopefully it's not, but hey, that's metal detecting. See you on the next one. Well, turns out that drop 3-ringer wasn't the last hole. But I did just dig this up. And it's a bent over twice harmonica reed. But the whole thing's there. But for whatever reason, they bent it over. I guess it broke and they got tired of it and just decided to bend it over. So there you go. That's pretty cool. Bent over harmonica reed. Full thing. Or the whole thing, just like I said, it ain't straightened up, but it's all there. Just in a different shape. I guess it'd be hard to play that one there, wouldn't it? Okay, back to the truck. Whew, another long day. You know, the only reason I stay out here as long as I do, knowing as tired as I get, is the fact that I'm 2.5 hours from home. So I'm not going to come down for 2.5 hours and only detect for 2 hours and then go back. But been out here for a number of hours. Did a lot more walking around. Went to the end of the road all the way down to the river today, just to kind of check and see where the troops may have crossed. You know, and especially when they were trying to flank the Confederacy that was already camped around this area, waiting for their arrival to try and stop them from going into Columbia. But, you know, the end result was they couldn't. They went on into Columbia anyway. But had a good day. You know, it was a long day, another long day, but had a good day. You saw most of everything that I dug up. Here, we'll go back over it again. So, first target of the day, of course, is that mason jar lid. I get it washed up a little bit, and you know, I keep it. And then as far as the lead, you saw the infield. That was the first bullet I dug today, and then a couple buckyballs I didn't even bother to record. And then the musket ball, the fired 3-ringer, and then the drop 3-ringer. And up here, the nail actually came out of the same hole as the harmonica reed. I just kept it because it's a pretty cool old nail. And then the wheat scent, I never did get a year off of it. It's pretty toasty. So I did earlier when I dug this. Remember, I was saying there was 2 people that I had messaged, and it was actually Adam that said what it was. So what this is, and I'll post a picture of it, of the whole thing, when it was still put together here in the video. But so what this was the candle snuffer, candle wicks, or yeah, candle fire snuffer, candle wick snuffer, however you want to call it. Broken, of course, but that's what that part is. The grommet, the poncho grommet, and then, of course, the stirrup. So that was it. That's what we got today. I don't know. As you can see, I got my Milo. I'm definitely gonna have some Milo, you know, because like I said, that stuff's, it's just awesome. But I don't know if I'll get back out here before turkey season. The landowner, he's an avid turkey hunter, and turkey season starts here in a couple weeks. So not sure that I'll get out here before then. I kind of doubt that I will. Then I'm gonna try to come back out hopefully towards the end of April after turkey season ends, and then after that it probably won't be until fall, once these bugs and all start dying down, because you know I'm seeing a bunch of them already that I already had a tick crawling on me today, and you know I'm not trying to get bit by ticks, and won't be long with all this pine out here. The chiggers will be in the area as well, so plus the mosquitoes down there by the swamp. You know, it'll be miserable during the summer, I'm sure. But I'll have other places to go, and other things to talk about, history, and you know, so I'll still stay busy during the summer months, even you know, bringing you some more content. But if you like what you see, please feel free to subscribe, and you know, definitely look forward to hearing from you in the comments. See if you know like what you do see or hear, you know, from me talking, because Lord knows I like to talk. But anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff packed up and get on the road for that 2.5 hour trip home, and clean some of this stuff up and put it away. So again, I really appreciate you watching Dixieland History. Love all of you, and hope to see you in the next video. We'll see you. Thanks for watching Dixieland History.